Well, I'm out here at the tractor, and as you can see, I've got it a little bit more together now. And I also got the carburetor. The guy who gave me the tractor gave me the carburetor as well, and he said that it looked like it had been made out of two different carburetors, and he wasn't sure if it was going to work. As you can see, there's been some drilling and put nuts and bolts in there rather than the original screws. I don't know what that carburetor is going to do, but I've thrown it on there so that when I'm ready to fire it, I can just spray a little carb cleaner in there or something and just see if it'll pop. I'm not going to be using the tank right away. I'll probably have to clean that out, so I think to test it I'll just grab another little tank and gravity feed it down to the carburetor. And the magneto, I got that, but unfortunately it does not have a coil in here in the top part. He said it was rigged up with a car coil or something when he got it, so we're gonna have to see if I can do something like the same thing that was on it. So I don't have a coil handy, but when I get one, I'll try to rig it up. And I got the alternator in place, and it looks like it's got a resistor here, so looks like it may have had, like he was saying, a coil on there. And I'm gonna have to not use this wiring. I'm gonna have to replace that because it's pretty chewed up. I won't be using any of the original wiring here. I probably won't even hook any of that up. I don't think I need to. Just a starter switch and the ignition switch there. And I'll probably just clean up those plugs and use them just to see if it'll fire. But we're getting there. I got some more parts on the way. I got an oil filter coming for it, so I can change the oil. And probably what I'll do is I'll change the oil and the filter, put fresh stuff in it, and if it fires up and I can get it running, I'll run it for a while, and then go ahead and change it again, because I'm sure there's a lot of crap in there. And I don't have the nuts. He gave me a box full of stuff, and I didn't find any nuts for the valve cover, so I'm gonna have to get a couple nuts for that. But other than that, it's coming together. Should work good, I think. Well, I'm out here at the Farmall, and I'm giving it a little oil change here, and I've already got a pan full of oil out of it, and I haven't even cracked the drain plug yet. I've just been draining it out of the check ports here. So I have a feeling when I finally crack that drain plug on the bottom there, I'm going to probably get some water out of it. But I've gone ahead and I've taken the filter off, and that was pretty nasty. There was a whole bunch of sludge in the bottom here, which you can see there, and there was some on the top of the filter, all dried up, sludge, nasty. So I got a new oil filter for it, and a new seal there, because that was rock hard. So now I think I've drained just about all I can from the check ports. I'm going to go ahead and move the pan over and see if we get any water out of it. Well, this is kind of funny. I pulled the drain plug, and oh, there we go. Now she's coming. At first nothing came out. Big chunk of sludge or something in there. See if we can't bust that up. There we go. Oh, she's draining. Yeah, there was a little bit of water in the bottom and a whole lot of sludge. Well, that'll probably fill up that pan anyway. I'll let that drip for a good while. Try to get all the crap out of it, and then go ahead and put the filter back on and put the plug back in and put some oil in it. Alright, I've got most of the oil, or should I say water, drained out of it here. I'm just going to let that drip dry for a while. Hopefully get most of that water out of it. And in the meantime, I think I'll head in and take a look at this magneto distributor thing I've got that doesn't have a coil, and see if I can make that work. I'm going to have to rewire this tractor anyway. I'm not going to use this cloth crap that's falling apart, and probably the only thing I'll use original is, if I can, I'll use the on-off switch, and if the starter switch is still good, I'll reuse that. Other than that, I'm not going to use any of the other wiring or switches or gauges or anything. Just it is what it is, and I'll see if I can make it work. So let's head inside and take a look at that magneto thing. Alright, I've got the distributor apart here, and there's supposed to be a coil right in here to make this work, but apparently somebody took it out. So I think I figured out how I'm going to make this work, and that is by taking this regular automotive coil and wiring it in here rather than having the coil that's supposed to be here. I can get one, it's like 50 or 60 bucks, but this is 12. Just makes life easier for me. So I've gone ahead and I've taken it off and I've looked at it, and it looks like I'll be able to wire this into the coil to the ballast resistor, and then the ballast resistor to the switch. That'll give it power, and then I'll be able to wire this side of the coil to this little post here, which will run through the condenser and the points and turn on and off the coil. Pretty simple. I think it'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together and start making some wires so I can rig this thing up. Alright, I've got the plugs out of here. I've got the distributor bolted in. It's not wired at all, but it's bolted in place, and I've thrown a battery in it, and the only thing I have wired up to it right now is the starter switch. So that should tell us if the starter is good and if the switch is good. So let's go ahead and see if it'll crank over. Well, here goes nothing. I'd say it spins over pretty good. Now I can go ahead and wire up that coil, and maybe we can see if we can get it to pop today. Alright, I've got the ignition all wired up. Hopefully it'll work. I got the coil rigged up here to the ballast resistor, back to the old switch, which hopefully works. And hopefully I've got the timing right and the plug wires in the right spot. I'm not 180 degrees out, but I guess we'll see. It's not set up to run on its own, but we're going to spray some carb cleaner in it and see if it'll pop. Still a lot I got to do before that. I have to hook up the fuel system because there's nothing there to give it fuel yet. I don't know the situation on the carburetor. The alternator's not hooked up. There's obviously no radiator, no coolant, nothing like that. I don't have couldn't find the nuts for the valve cover, so that's just kind of sitting there, but hopefully this will tell us if this thing will start or not. So let's spray it down with a little carb cleaner and see what happens. Well, I guess I'll check and see if I've got spark. Well, I went ahead and I checked for spark. I didn't have any spark, so I went ahead and removed the ballast resistor, took that out of the equation, and now I seem to have spark, so let's give it another try. we go. I had the wires crisscrossed a bit, but I got them set up, and spray enough carb cleaner in there, it'll fire, so I'm happy. Now I've got to go ahead and hook up the fuel so it has some fuel to it, and hook up the alternator too so it'll charge. And yeah, I think we're gonna have a runner.